motivational podcast where boss babes like you can learn, live, and thrive off of each other through the stories of my journey and other young monarchs along the way. We're on our grind and living life unapologetically. I'm your host, Tiara, Miss Tiara XO on Instagram. Now let's get into it. So, hey.
What's up, T?
But for everybody listening, welcome to episode 20 of the Young Monarchs podcast. Today I'm joined, first of all, today we're going to talk about sisterhood and pretty much everything that goes into what I guess we feel is like positive sisterhood and like positive building between women. And this episode will be featuring Chloe, your friend from school, college. And do you want to say how we met from your perspective? From my perspective.
Okay. Georgia Southern.
Yeah.
Freshman year, weekend before classes started.
Tiara
was my roommate, my first roommate in some of the worst dorm rooms on campus.
The probably worst one.
Well, yeah, besides Watson.
And I remembered when I was recording the other episode, you probably didn't even know that I moved your bed. Like when I got there.
You were by the window originally? You know, it's funny because you actually did me a favor. I liked being by the window. I'm like, oh yes, I got this
thinking
bed.
about that. I was like, I don't think I ever said that to anybody just in case you didn't like it.
That's actually really funny. I never knew that, T.
Because I knew I got there first, and I didn't know. I knew I was sharing a bedroom, and I knew I didn't like that. Because I came from, what was that, Eagles Landing for EIP?
Oh, Eagle Village?
Not Eagle Village. What's the other one? I don't know.
Pines. A lot of people were at Pines.
Yeah, so I had like my own room, and then I shared a bathroom. So when I found out I was sharing, I was like, I got to get there first. I was like,
I wish I would have been that smart because, like, damn.
And then I got in. I was looking for my the little envelope, and I was like, "Oh, I'm over here." And it was Chloe. She's over here. I was like, "I'm just gonna switch."
Oh my god, that's crazy! Wow.
So I don't think I ever told that story. I apologize, but it turned out well.
Scandalous.
Okay, I'm never gonna say that to anybody. I did not want to be on the wall.
Well, it's cool. I dig windows. So
yeah.
It was all good.
And you were probably like one of the main reasons why I had friends. I would say like the friends that I had.
It's funny because like it was really after hearing you say that I kind of was like, wow, like I didn't ever thought of it that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that, you know, these were friends of mine and they became friends of yours that way.
Yeah.
I guess just because like the bonds that were made freshman year, they were just like fun and like just new and like refreshing. Like it was like new life every day.
Yeah.
So yeah, like to me, everybody was just friends in general. Like the people that I don't know, like if they live here in Kennedy, like I know that person.
And I think that's how I met a lot of people. I think that's how I met like Gimps. First, that was freshman year.
Yeah, that was freshman year.
That's how I met everybody.
Hella people who stayed there.
Yeah,
like my goodness.
But thinking about it, it was like I was not good at making friends, and you made it real easy.
Yeah, actually, I've always been. That's one thing I guess I could pride myself on. I feel like I've always been good at making friends.
Yeah.
You know, keeping friends I've been pretty good with, but making them I've always been good with. People just kind of fall off over time.
Yeah. For me, I just don't know how I made any friends. So now I'll be looking back. I know I said it on another episode. Like I've never, until like now, I've never like purposely made a friend. Like in my head, I was like, I want this person to be my friend. And then somehow they became my friend. Wow. But I've never introduced myself until now.
That's interesting.
So it's all like a lot.
Okay.
Like, different stuff.
Okay. I'm understanding some things. I'm getting it. Okay.
And so today, I guess we'll go ahead and jump right in to the first segment. We do a boss shit segment, which is pretty much like women who are doing something amazing in the world, but with everybody being locked inside, there's not a lot. Mm-hmm. I don't want to give any Karens any debuts because I could talk about that for a while. So we're just going to talk about pretty much, I guess we can recap, like, you're here because I would consider, like, no matter what we've gone through, I always understood that you, like, did your own thing. And I think that was the one thing that I admired most about you that kind of made me want to just be like, I'm still going to do my own thing because it works for some people. And I really admired that about you, that you never felt like you had to do anything. Mm-hmm. Like, there were times in college where everybody went out and you didn't go out. Mm-hmm. Or you like went somewhere else and everybody else went somewhere else. But yep. I really admired that about you completely, that you were just like, I love you. I'm going to do what I want to do now. That's funny. Yeah. I guess we can just start there. I know one of the main things we're going to get into is like building positive relationships. But I know from the last episode, the story that I told was from my perspective because you were a part of my friend group in college. Yes. But from everybody else, that's like not the same story. Yeah. And it's all just based on like, well, what seat are you in? And like, when did you get to the party? Like, how do you see stuff? Mm-hmm. So I know you wanted to talk about a few of those things before we jumped into kind of like where we are now. Because I know a couple months ago we had lunch. Yeah. And it kind of seemed like to me and you, like we were in a different place, but we were still like growing to like who we are.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, we can jump right. Okay, so not to, just like go on and on about it or whatever. Because, I know like we've all found our piece about it and everything. Yeah. I guess, I know in some ways I'm still kind of finding my piece about the situation. But ultimately, I guess the things that I had kind of wanted to address from what I listened to in the last episode was just kind of like,
say how you feel.
From my perspective, like just the group dynamic in general. And I know like, because I was like a bit of a wanderer and I always had friends like elsewhere. Yeah. To me, certain things just weren't that personal. And I always stayed out of like other people's stuff. Yeah. So anytime that you kind of had a run-in with anybody else within like our group, I was always kind of like, I mean, that's between y'all, kind of thing. But so anyways, so the main things that I had really wanted to address was just like, I guess the way that I heard the story being told was that this person kind of, I guess, convinced the group or something like to that effect to basically push you out of the group or like not allow you to be in the group anymore. And like from my perspective, that just wasn't how I saw it because nobody was really convinced of that. I think everybody had their own opinion about, their relationship with you up to that point. And for the people who did still want to be friends with you, we still wanted that, but we knew that it couldn't exist in the group because there were people who didn't want to be friends with you anymore. So, So from there, the way that I kind of saw it was like, I never, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't recall ever being like, unresponsive to you. Like I've never like iced you or nothing like that. So, when I was listening to it, I guess I understood you saying that like the group wasn't like talking to you and like stuff like that. And I was just like, whoa, like I never, like I was still cool with T after everything happened and everything like that. And even during that time period between, what went down and like the mediation, I was good with you. Yeah. I hadn't reached out, but we didn't, in my opinion, we didn't have that kind of relationship anyways. Like it was never like a thing where it was like, but then again, nothing like that had happened. Yeah. So there's that too. But the other thing too is like, there's the group, but it was really like the group me. Yeah. Yeah. You were removed from the group chat. You were removed from the group me.
Like, oh, hell no.
Yeah.
But I see what you're saying, because to your point, I guess not like trying to loop you in with like the guys in our group, but it was kind of like that same type of, they don't really have nothing to do with this. But I guess for me, it's kind of like, even though I knew you didn't have anything to do with this, for me, it was kind of like you were still there. And then like when I guess even at the time that I wasn't, then I was still like trying to get through like my own like insecurities and my own like thoughts in my mind and things that was going on. So for me, it was kind of like, well, like, you know, like there was stuff that happened that I wasn't there for, but other people that I genuinely felt like super, super close to were there for. And it was like all those questions in my head was like, well, when I wasn't there, like, were people defending me? Like, was somebody trying to like be an advocate for me? And like,
that to your point,
happen. Like, I didn't know.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, to like your point, like I knew like you didn't have anything to do with it, but to see it from my perspective to be kind of like a 5 talking to 1 thing and not like a just 6 people just talking and having a conversation about how they feel.
Yeah.
It turned into like, well, if they want to be my friends, then they can reach out to me, since there were so many things that happened where I just wasn't there.
Yeah.
Privy to. And I think that's what kind of, I guess that's what kind of made me lump everything, even though like there's no hard feelings in general towards anyone. I knew, like, I just knew people's personalities. Like, I knew you didn't really have anything to do with it. I knew, you know, other people were probably in between and didn't really want to pick a side, but it's kind of like how the conversation went. To what I remember, it didn't seem like anybody was really like advocating for me vouching in that moment. You for real.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I really wanted. I think that's what like would have made me feel stronger in any type of bond that I have with anyone. If somebody in like that moment when we were all together, if somebody was like, this isn't okay, or like, let's look at this from a different perspective, or let's just talk about it.
Yeah.
Because even if it's like a conversation that's like, I don't want to be friends with this person anymore. That's cool, but talk to that person about it.
Yeah, I hear you.
That was like kind of where I kind of had to lump everything and just decide.
Just put everybody together. Like, yeah. And I get it, because like we were all connected. For me personally, I felt like advocacy was done by allowing you to stay out of the group me, because I knew how people on the other side of the group me felt. And I felt like you didn't really want to still be friends with those people after that anyways. Like, I feel like things had built up so much up to that point that it was like, okay, well, they're done. But what I will say is I should have reached out to you. And that's one thing that I do, you know, that is like the thing where I'm just like, you know, I really do wish that I would have reached out to her when that did happen, just so that she could have some understanding. But it was just, my mentality then was, don't touch it. Like, that's their thing. So if homegirl's gonna remove you from the group, then that's between y'all two to talk about, you know. And you know, I guess that's something that I've you know.
And I guess thinking about like on friendships in general, I always it's weird, because I always knew that I knew that I enjoyed everything that like we did. Like, I enjoyed
we had fun. Yeah.
But it was kind of like they expect more from, I knew that certain people expected more from me where I couldn't give them more. And I think, like, I don't know, like when you say things had like escalated to a certain point, I don't know what those like escalation points are, but I have an idea of just like, I can't give you what you want because I'm just not that person. And for me, I don't know what it is, but I guess.
Yeah, I'm also talking about like with the particular situation, like the different, like, you know, things that you had did that rubbed them the wrong way. And then, you know, and to me, it just kind of became like well, she did this and then we haven't heard from her since she did this. So, you know, now we feel away. And that's kind of like how it was on the other side. So to me, I'm just seeing that both sides did something. And I don't like I said, I wasn't taking things too personal then. So I'm just like, well, y'all just being,
like you get over it in your own time.
Y'all always being like, this is what, it's a group of girls. So, but yeah, I didn't realize that it was going to kind of like push people away in the way that it did. I don't think I took it seriously enough.
Oh yeah. Cause I feel like you said, it's all perspective. And at that time I just had so much going on in my head in general. Like I'm not.
And I didn't know that either. Like I was in school at the time. So it was like, I was distant too. But like when I would come around, sometimes we would miss each other. Sometimes we would see each other. And it was that's just what it was to me.
Yeah.
But I didn't have that same dynamic that y'all. Yeah. So anyway. I don't want to just like overemphasize the point that I ain't had nothing to do with that. Because like I was there and I want to hold myself accountable for being a person who was involved.
Yeah. So like, I guess to like get through all of that, the whole lesson, the lesson for me was for me to like really, if I want to make a friend, be a friend. Mm-hmm. And me figuring out like what things can I do and what things can't I do. Just in general, like who am I to say like, I'm not really like a partier all the time. Like I don't really want to do that all the time. Mm-hmm. For me, I felt like that was a big thing. Like I wasn't present a ton of times as I may have been present for other things that people knew of.
I think sharing your heart too also tends to become a thing. Like
I know like I didn't do that.
Yeah, you did it.
And
but these were people who did. So for them, it's kind of like,
it's like, you already don't share. Get the fuck out of here.
It's like, we telling you all our business and we don't know shit about you.
And then that's another whole, like another thing of me not sharing. Cause at the beginning of that last episode, I talked about my friend in high school, which is right before I came to Georgia Southern and met all you guys. Yeah. And I went through a lesson of learning, like, you don't even tell your best friends everything. Yeah. And I came into college knowing that, but wanting friends and wanting like the type of friendships that y'all had because you did open your hearts and you did share that way. But me, I was like, I'm not going into it. Like I'm good. I'll think this through. We'll get an idea of what to do, but I ain't telling nobody nothing. And that's a fault to me because I wanted somebody to tell everything to. Yeah. And I felt like I told like 90. I'm not even gonna lie. I probably told 75% of what I could have. Mm-hmm. What I should have told the whole 25, but it was the 75 that let you know something happened and maybe what happened. Mm-hmm. But it's the 25 that was like, y'all just not gonna find out. So you just got to get over it because that's where I was at the time. I was more so guarding my heart while you guys were like opening sharing and building yours. Yeah, and I feel like that's interesting. That's like a whole thing because like people have their different cycles of how they do things, and like I've learned like that in general has made me understand like if I want to be friends with somebody, I need to let them know what's going on in my relationships if I feel like they're a true friend and I need help in that area, or let them know just in general like what I think of them or our friendship. But I also had a problem with how I said things and like when I decided to be vocal and when I decided not to be vocal. Mm-hmm. And how I decided
like
to be
timing and platform
and just like in general, just thinking through college, like I didn't have good timing. I said what I wanted to say, but my mom like constantly like, it's how you say it. And it's like, you're a bitch sometimes. It's how you say it.
Yeah, my mama's had to tell me that.
And that's a big thing, especially I think with female friendships, to build something positive. Like you have to, I'm learning now to take your ego out of it and just more so speak from your heart. Like, this is how I feel. This is what I want from this. Mm-hmm. But over the time and over the years, how do you, like, what are the things that you look for, or what are the things that you do to let people know that you are genuinely invested in like their friendship and in building something real and consistent with them? Because like that's what I wanted to do, but I had all these things in my head that was like, no, Tiara, like you just don't do it. Yeah. And like, how does that work for me, for you to be, because you're good at being out of it, but also letting people know like you do care. So you're good at balancing it.
I don't know. I'm just one of those people who's like, if it's somebody that I know I love and I care about and I feel like they kind of deserve the truth from me, everybody deserves the truth. But you know what I mean? Like if they deserve me to be forthcoming with information, like I think it's very important for me to be vocal about, just my feelings and emotions and everything, and just like where I stand as an individual. And dang, I forgot the question.
Like, how do you keep to yourself? Like, how do you not necessarily? I guess keep to yourself, but also like let people know that you are there for them and that you are their friend.
Yeah. So the other thing too, I guess the way that I'm able to kind of keep my distance, that is really just my spirit. I don't like being too crowded all the time, and having too many just. I'm the baby child, so I grew up a little smothered. And because of that, I be just liking hands-free unless it's like the person that I chose to be here with me right now. And that's kind of like the way that I've always done. That's why I always did kind of, I guess, bounce around or whatever, because it's like I always had relationships with individuals more than, I mean, I got a lot of groups of friends or whatever, but a lot of times those groups happen because of very special relationships that I had with individual people. And over time, like I developed relationships with everybody, but I'm always going to have the people that I'm closest with. So when it comes to those people that I'm close with, whenever I do have the opportunity, not that I reach out because that's something that I'm working on. But when I do have the opportunity to talk to them, when I do talk to them, or when I do pull up to like the next, shindig, I will, let people know that I love them, and that, I care for them, and that if they want to reach out, I'm here. Like, you can talk to me. I might not reach out to you, but please know, like, if I don't pick up, I will hit you back. Like, it might take a couple of days, but I'll hit you back. Like,
so I know we did not talk about this before, but I just had a question. So yeah, we can cut this out if you don't want to answer it.
Okay.
But what do you think? Because I like to just learn more about myself to grow. What are the things that you can say that I did that could have been differently to build those positive relationships? I obviously know like sharing more, because there were people for sure that were mad that I didn't share. And I do understand that, because it's probably the same people that I was in the bed with while they shared. And for me not to reciprocate that, like that is really messed up. But again, like what was going on in my head, I just wasn't there yet. So I know that for sure.
But you know what? I think that you were in a very special place, like in your journey, in your life journey, period. And I mean, who's to say that, something could have been done different? I think that everybody kind of just was who they were at that time. We were so young. And so there is a lot of ego when you're that age, because that's all you have. That's what you've been building all those years of youth, unless you've really been doing spiritual work, which a lot of kids
spiritual work was.
Ain't doing that, and we're at college, we partying. So to say that you maybe could have done something different, maybe towards the end of college, maybe doing a self-assessment of, where will my friendships go from here? And will I really continue to pursue these? Like, will I try to get deeper with a person to where I can have a long-lasting friend out of these individuals? Do I want that out of these people, or do I want to just kind of find my tribe in the world? It's hard to say what could I have done different, because we can't go back in time, and I can't test out any theory, but I do know that you seem to be real good. You know what I'm saying? And maybe that's how it was supposed to be. At some point or another, maybe it was supposed to be that you weren't going to be friends with these people anymore. They were in your life for a season, and now it's time for you to kind of move on to what's helping Tierra now blossom. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but I think, like, to be honest, I do give y'all a lot of credit for just kind of like pushing me out there a little bit more to be more open about how I feel. Just by seeing so many young girls, like college age girls, being vocal about what they want and how they want it and how they want things to go. All of that like inspired me to be like, so, and it was like towards the end of, like not towards the end of college, like once we got back and how at the same time that everything was happening, for me, that was the same time I was thinking like, okay, so how am I going to do this? Like, you know, what do I want in a friend? Like, but I think more so it was kind of like God being like, right now you don't need no friends. Like, because I always, like, I just go with the flow just in general.
Yeah.
To a, like,
you do.
You
always have.
And I think, but I think I had to realize, like, what flow do I want to be on rather than just going with any flow.
Be intentional about picking your flow. You know, and any time that the flow needs to be switched up, you know, knowing how to redirect yourself.
Yeah.
And also, well, I guess what I will say is, you know, for whoever this could help in the future, like, don't put so much pressure on yourself, because that's when you kind of start doing things out of like an obligation and not out of like a genuine like love and curiosity for like the people who are in your life. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's one thing. Yeah, that's like the main thing I can think of. And then also, like I said, just, I think maybe if you would have been a little more open, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think that probably would have did some things. And not just open about like your business, because like you got to tell people your business, but it's just more so about how you deliver like yourself and like where you stand as an individual and how you love these people or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
That kind of creates that connection that's like, oh, wow. Like, this person might act a monkey, but they do care.
Yeah. And I guess for me, it was kind of like the fear of just all of that not being reciprocated in the same way. Because it was like, because even now I had the friend that came with me to your party. I'm not friends with her anymore.
Oh.
So it's like, I noticed for me.
Last year?
Yeah, last year. Last year, no, you can't make it.
I don't know how long you're friends with the girl, so.
But even that was like, I learned from our, like, the relationship that we all had to, like, make sure, like, people do understand, like, I do want to be their friend. So, in, like, the situation with her, like, she felt like I was being a flaky friend, and she said it. And I was like, you know, you're right. Like, I even said, like, actually, I'm a flaky friend. Yeah, you can put me in that category, too. But I also followed it up with, like, I want to be your friend. Like, and maybe I'm just like learning how to tell you that or how to say that. But I want you to know, like, I want to be your friend and I'm not going to be a flaky friend to you.
Yeah.
So like from there, I showed up. Like anytime you asked and I said yes, I showed up to show like I'm not flaky. But then it came to like, I still like, female friendships are kind of hard because it's like if I feel like you have some type of animosity or like energy towards me, like I'll just be straight up and be like, so are you not okay? Because you don't seem like you're okay. And she just kept saying like, I'm fine. But I knew like, you're not fine. So if you want to be my friend as well, just say like, what's wrong? Because you want to be my friend to like come out with me and we get here and it's a little weird. So like, let's talk about it. But I'm learning to be like more direct and letting people know like, I do value your relationship and you can let me know like when you feel like I'm not being a good friend because I'm just in my own world. Like I'm doing my own thing over here. So just let me know when you feel like I'm being flaky or any type of way. And I feel like that works a lot for me now. Just people being like, I didn't like this. And I was like, that works. Like, I just won't, like if I like you and if I cared that you didn't like it, I won't do it. But I can't do anything about things that I just don't know. So that's
interesting. That's actually a point that I thought about, that I was just thinking about making. I was just talking about that with people like the other day. But yeah, just about, I kind of say it like, you know, it's hard to support a person when you don't really know what you're like, what to support. If somebody hasn't shared, you know.
And I think that played a huge role in our relationship from my end. I wanted support off of things that y'all didn't know about. So it's kind of like, in my head, I'm like, I'm expecting y'all to be my friend. I'm expecting you to vouch for me. But you actually don't know what's going on in my head. Like, what are we vouching for? So I get that. And that's a major thing. That's a major thing. Like, bitch, nobody can read your mind. Nobody knows that you're sad or you feel like this type of way. So let one person know. Yeah. So they can get it to everybody else. It's gonna get around. You just gotta let one person know. And I never did that.
Yeah.
And
because there's a lot that I really did not know you were even experiencing. And I feel like I could have imagined though, after how things have went down. So, but just in general.
Want to be featured on the show? If you or a friend is on her grind to live her dreams, reach out to us on Instagram @_youngmonarch or me directly @MissTierraXO to be featured on an episode. Have a story to share? DM us on Instagram or leave a message at the link in our bio and we'll share it during the motivational tea next week. Now let's get back to the show. Okay. Let's talk about, I know for girls in general, like being there when it matters the most is probably I guess I would say number one for people in general. Yeah. But because I can only talk about our friendship and like what we had. Do you feel like there were times where I wasn't there when it mattered the most, or like trying to figure out like how to just talk about, because being there when it matters the most is how you encourage people, like how you really show up for your friends. And I guess like even to me not sharing with anybody, sometimes I felt like people didn't show up for me the way they showed up for other people, or the way that the way they showed up for other people.
Yeah, those other friendships. And
it's like close. And all of it goes into like my actions and the way like I perceive things. But I kind of felt like there was a clear kind of difference sometimes. And I feel like that difference, even though if nobody else noticed it, that difference also played a really big decision in like just looping everybody as one.
Yeah.
Not saying like you didn't show up for me when it mattered or other people didn't. I knew who you were, I knew who other people were, but I kind of felt like as a unit, like everybody didn't celebrate the things that I wanted to celebrate, or celebrate things that I was doing the same way you celebrated things that other people was doing.
I don't know if I can speak to that because like I don't have that memory.
Yeah.
And mind you, there are a lot of things that I didn't make it to.
Yeah, and that's a whole other thing.
And eventually, I kind of stopped getting invited to some stuff because they was like, well, "You don't come anyway," so we just thought you wasn't gonna come. And I started to feel away. But I definitely said something because I was like, "Oh, y'all hoes just gonna go out." I was actually free that night, but excuse me. Sorry to get off track.
Okay.
But yeah, as far as just like being there when it matters the most, I don't know. I don't recall things happening that way and probably because I wasn't always there myself. But and maybe the reason that it wasn't so impactful that I wasn't there is maybe because people knew my heart. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And in your absence, I think that's why it's important that when you do get to see people, you have a lasting impact. So that, that will always carry over for those people. So that when they do reflect on you, that's what they remember. That's what they know. Is like, oh, when I think on Chloe, that's who I know her to be, And so that's why that's just like the type of way that I try to carry myself when I do see people, because I know how distant I am. And so to me, like, as far as being there when it matters the most, for me, it's like, if I don't know about a thing or whatever, then I'm probably not going to be there.
Yeah.
But even if I do know about a thing, like, are we talking about like celebratory things, or like, are we talking about things that happen, like, that are just like, that happen in our lives that are like, a little earth shattering, or like,
I guess I'm thinking like maybe like celebratory things,
like birthdays, or
like just things to be happy about, like birthdays, not parties, but like parties that mean moments, like birthday. I keep saying birthdays.
Yeah. And when I say I'm pretty spoiled with that, because, y'all always was there for my birthdays, so it wasn't, that's really not something that I really considered, I definitely tried to be there when I could be there.
Yeah.
But I always had just so much going on, and learning to prioritize all the stuff I have going on. That's an uphill battle right now. Like, I just I have to pick the things that matter the most to me. And a lot of times I'm spending so much time with my family that I was missing things. And there could be a very high chance that there were things of yours that were missed, but I just don't recall missing your things at any higher level than I missed other people's stuff.
Yeah. And it's so like, I guess me in general, I'm always like super emotional, but to other people, they don't see that. Like, I give a very like, I don't know, I don't want to say it's like melancholy, but I give a very like, I'm good, like regardless of what is going on in my head, like what I show is I'm chilling. And I think for me, that was not always a good thing to do in a really like energetic type of group. Like, you can't be just kind of like quiet all the time, like in your own world, doing your own thing while like people are jumping from the ceilings around you.
Yeah.
But
I've experienced that heat.
But that's like, but I'm learning like that's just kind of who I am. But it's also not to anybody's defense, but I know for a fact, like I was always like happy and excited to be there on the inside, but I never showed like crazy me or like who I am around like family, because I just didn't feel like that was not necessarily that I didn't feel like it was a safe space. It was just like, are you going to show people who you are, or are you just going to chill? Yeah. And I always chose to just chill. Yeah. But in my head, like I was jumping from the ceilings, but nobody saw that.
Yeah. And sometimes too, it's just like, if it's not your tribe, it's just not your tribe. Like sometimes I do think that we have environments that we thrive in a little better, and some people who bring certain things out of us better than other people can.
Yeah.
And that a lot of times I felt like that was the case for you. Because I've seen you like I feel like I had witnessed you be a little more outgoing. Like our freshman year, and even like, really in college period. But I know it was like all the people we were partying with and stuff and all that. It was just so much fun. So, but yeah, in general, I guess, I could see that you weren't always just like showing people
that I was in the moment with
all them. Of you. Yeah, in a moment. But
and I learned how people can like pick up on that. Like people can know like you're not being I guess for them, they would say like, oh, you're being fake. But for me, it's like, oh, you're being reserved. Like you're just kind of, because like I just never like was just out there. Like I was there, but I was observing.
I have a question for you. Do you feel like in some ways, like when we were in college, because I know that there were times where I was just kind of off, doing whatever. And I would come home and everybody's already there, like turned up partying. So I know like there were moments that I've missed, several moments that I've missed. Do you feel like in those times, that you were hanging out at the crib and everything, like that allowed people to see you a way that I don't see you? Like, because people maybe like started to get closer to you in a way. They started to see you more and experience you more, but they would see that they're not experiencing all of you. Whereas like with me, the tea that I see is the tea that I know. Like there's not like a conflict. Like it's not where something's not adding up for me. Like, even when you get like rah, like I seen you get like that freshman year. I remember like you was about to buck on the bitch in a party for me. And I was like, okay, team, like I don't even fight. Like, so I guess I just wonder, like, was it all that time spent, y'all, like all y'all the time that all y'all spent together, that allowed things to be seen, I guess, a certain kind of way? Or do you just think that you weren't sharing with certain people versus maybe you were sharing with others?
I think I was just more so always, like, I always cared of what people thought and what people wanted to see from me. So it was more so like if we're going party, like, okay, I'll come. Don't expect me to be on the tables, but I'll be coming. Like, I'll drive, I'll like do all that stuff. Yeah. But I guess, I don't know, like, I guess at that time I wanted, which I didn't tell anybody, like, I wanted somebody to kind of like pull that out of me and be like, we're your friend. Like, like I wanted somebody to show that they wanted to know what was in my head. Yeah. Instead of just like, oh, you don't share, so whatever. You know? Yeah. Like, I wanted somebody to be like, you gotta share. Yeah, like it's your turn. Like, I know something's going on. It's your turn. Yeah. And I think because I wanted just to see, I don't know. It's like, maybe I wanted to see like more effort, but you can't give more effort if people don't know what they're putting effort to. Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes people too don't want to feel like they're prying, because if you really like are like hesitant like this to tell me something, then maybe I don't need to know. You know, sometimes like that'd be my thing. If a person seems like they don't want to tell me something, I don't force nobody. Yeah. You know? And so that's like, and I never wanted to come off like boring or anything, but I was always just thinking about like parties and different things where we were all together. I just was always my view of everything was always so much different than everybody else's, because I wasn't like, it's not like y'all were doing a whole lot and I wasn't doing a whole lot. It was just, I was so reserved. I was so like, I'm not finna do nothing. Like, y'all not gonna think I'm crazy. Yeah. Like, you're just not going to, I'm not gonna show you. You know what's funny is that like, cause, well, never mind. I'm not about to make this about me. Cut this part out. You can if you want to, but I noticed so many times, like I remember specifically a party where it was, everybody was there. I think it was probably at like Dorsey's house, like a huge party. So many people. They were like packed out, and I just remember me being up on the counter just sitting there. Like, music was going, people was like jumping, but I was just sitting there. And just like people just making sure I'm good. Like, you want something to drink? Like, sure, give me a cup. But I'm still sitting here while my friends are like, I see one friend over there. I see one friend over there. But me, I'm like, I'm good right here because I'm here with my friends, but I'm not. I guess for them, it was like, you're not with your friends. You're here, of course, but you're not with us while we're down here. You're over there watching or just being like a fly on the wall. Well, that's interesting because I feel like I guess that's kind of back to like the point that I was, or the question that I was asking. Because I feel like in those environments, like when y'all used to go out, I know they used to be like turned up. They'd be turned up anyway, but I know like I would be at other things and I wouldn't always see that. But when I would come out with the group, you know, I don't feel like I was most time, unless I was drunk. It was only when I was drunk, when I was really just, you know, going crazy. But in general, like, you know, I just felt like I was more just floating around the room. Yeah. But I don't think I just ever stuck to the group. Like whenever we were even going out, like I would always like, you know, make my rounds to see like what's going on everywhere. Yeah. Whatever. And I was always just like, from my perspective, I was just there. Like maybe I walked around and saw a couple people, but it was more so like but people know like I'm just chilling. Like I'm fine here. Just chill. I like, never had no problem. Be here. I was always cool with chill tea. Like I need somebody chill in the group or whatever. No, like everybody has like their chill parts of them. Well, especially now, but like then, you know, everybody was way more turned up. And it was like people had some chill, but for the most part, there was no chill. It was turned up, which is sometimes why I would kind of just escape and go other places, because like where they was drinkers, I was a smoker. So I like the vibes, like, you know what I'm saying? The chill out and let's just kick it, drink a beer. I was never like making my own friends. So it was kind of like, these are my friends. Yeah. So it's like that was where you were. Yeah. But for like, to your point, like I knew other people. I had like quick convo here, go back inside, quick convo here, I'm going outside again. Those were like super fun to me, but just in general, I was never like, sometimes I just felt like I wasn't as turned enough as people needed me to be. But it was kind of like, I can't be like more exciting than I am right now in this moment. Yeah. without feeling like I'm showing too much of myself. Like I didn't want to do that. I think that was my biggest issue in college. I didn't want people to see me for real.
Yeah.
I never, even till now, even from like a little girl till now, I never want people to, I didn't want attention. Like I didn't want you, don't look at me. Don't look at me, don't talk to me. Yeah. Like you can talk to me if you want.
I had a little bit of that, and really a lot of that in me for a very long time.
Like I don't want you to see me. Like just, so I never, especially in college, I never did more than I thought through. Like even if I wanted to do like a quick action, I never did more than I thought through.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't want you to see me that much. So like even times where I don't know if you were there, like getting on stage at karaoke and stuff like that.
Well, like at the bar?
Yeah, like karaoke.
Because I remember at Gatta's or whatever.
That's what I'm talking about. I remember us getting on stage, and I was like, "Am I?"
Oh, you mean during the summer after? I'm sorry.
I think so. Like when we were on stage, and I was like, "This is not me," but I guess I'll get up here too.
I feel like I remember.
And that was kind of like, I guess that was a good moment of me not caring if I was seen or not. But it was always a conscious, like, do you want to do this or do you not want to do this?
Yeah.
And that was probably like a big barrier for me not fully experiencing what I could have experienced. And then just me not wanting to be seen. So I didn't like I knew other girls and I was cool with other girls, but it was never like, I like you. Like, I want to hang out with you guys.
Right, yeah. It was never like you just gone. And for me, like, I didn't have just like so many girls outside of the group. Really, a lot of the other girls that I was cool with through all my other guy friends.
Right.
Like, I had hella guy friends, not boasting about that because, but I did. I had a lot of guy friends. And they always had like larger groups of friends that had girls in it.
And that's how I met other girls too. But I was always kind of like, these are your friends.
Yeah.
That's how I felt because I wasn't like an adventurer like that.
Yeah.
Like completely. I always wanted somebody that I knew came with me here.
Yeah. I get that. I was definitely a dolo, like, I'm making moves. I'll see y'all later.
But I like that.
Yeah.
So I guess we talked about a lot of this stuff already. Okay. I guess this like the importance of having a safe space with your friends. And I think because I had my own thoughts going on, I didn't necessarily like feel like every group conversation or every like meetup or something, I didn't always feel like that was a safe space for me.
Yeah.
And maybe it could just be like I knew what people expected from me, but I wasn't going to give that to them. Like I knew for a fact what other people expected from me. And at the same time, I was like, no.
Yeah.
Like, it's like that's a big thing because I can see how not necessarily if I gave people what they wanted from me, but if I just shown more of myself, like it could have been a different turnout. But I learned like not to anybody's fault, and it's like I don't have any hard feelings because I can see where you expected me to tell you what was going on. You expected me to, be the outgoing person that you probably saw but probably knew I wasn't being. And you expected all these things. And you also saw that I was not going to give them to you. So that was probably for a lot of people that can be, especially for somebody's egos, they're saying like, you don't share, you don't do this.
Yeah.
And for me to still say like, yeah, I know, and I'm still not going to do it.
Yeah, it feels like an F you.
Yeah. But it's all, even then it was also more of just like how I felt about myself and how I wanted to be seen and perceived. Like I didn't want people to think like, I had already felt so many things about myself. I didn't want other people to also know those weaknesses to use those against me if it ever came time.
I get that.
And that goes back to high school. That's why I never shared. That's why.
Yeah.
Because even I can say like the friend of ours that I lived with, I would probably consider her and you, and other people, like somebody that I would want to share everything with. But even I didn't. Yeah. Like I knew like I could share things with you and I knew I could share everything with her because she definitely shared everything with me. And I definitely, and I shared a lot with her. So I felt like that was like a wall that was breaking down that I could hopefully break down with everybody else. That it was just more so like thing back in my mind, like, do you want to tell people stuff that they can use against you?
Yeah. And it was especially like, people who you haven't built that with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's difficult when you have like a group of people and there's, extended friends who are now hanging around all of your friends. And like you're having to figure out how to navigate those new relationships, but you're still trying to be the same person with your friends, but not be that way with this one outside person because you don't know who they are and you don't know how they gonna use your business. And I definitely get that. I mean, if that is how it was for you, I would understand that conflict because I feel like, I have a lot of that too.
Yeah.
And that's why I really have like a high value on like having those one-on-one relationships, like creating those very close bonds and like, really just making it about those. And everything else is just what it is. Like, I love you. I see you when I see you. When I see you, it's love. Like, that's what it is. But for the people who really matter the most, those people who you really do feel like, like I'm tight with this person, I think it's important to reinforce that, and just always just keep that known. Even if something does happen on like a group level, it's just like that person and that's why I reached, that's why I missed you, but also that's why I did reach out to you because I'm just like, at the end of the day, like, I'm the one who wants to be your friend. So it's like, it's up to me to kind of put that foot forward and like say, look, like this is what it is for me.
And I feel like I agree with you in everything that you're saying. And to your point, like I do, it's like thinking back on it, you think about like, not like you can't do anything about it now, but like those moments where I could have shared or I could have, to your point, focused on my friendship with one person. I was more so focused on my friendship as a whole, like with everybody, because in my mind, I didn't want to lose like everybody. So I was focused on everybody instead of like, well, let me build this relationship with you and this relationship with her and this relationship with her. It was more so, how much can I share with everybody for them to know, like, I want to be friends. I want to do this. But there were like so many instances where you just were not there, where I noticed closer bonds, where I was just like, okay, I'm kind of out of this one. But because I thought of whole, I thought of like, oh yeah, like this isn't for me.
Like this doesn't come as a person, it comes as a unit. Like,
and that's like I can say that's a big thing for me because because thinking back, like even thinking now, I try to like see things from other people's perspectives. And it's kind of like, if you wanted to be my friend or didn't want to be my friend, like I always want like the olive branch of, this is how I feel about you. And I'm not gonna say it while you're not around. I'm gonna say it like while you're here with me. And I think that was a big part of me just feeling like, even if somebody didn't want to be my friend enough to want me to grow and say like, I don't appreciate that you do this. I definitely don't fuck with this that you do. I don't know if that could have saved the friendship. I know that could have helped me understand other people better. And even though I knew what people expected of me, it would have helped me just be like, okay, so she said this. So she does actually expect what I've been thinking she expects.
Yeah.
So maybe what can I do now?
Yeah.
But I just kind of felt like, it wasn't that important. Like the friendship wasn't that important for me not to hear that face to face. Like these are the things that I feel like you can really improve on. And because you're not improving in the speed that I would want you to improve, because it had already been like a 3-year friendship, you know, like it's year 3 and you're not improving. Like you still getting the C-, girl. Because like I think that would have helped me and kind of made me feel a little bit more comfortable, because there were times even after things kind of broke apart where we did run into each other and see each other, and I was just kind of like, am I gonna am I gonna turn this way? Or what am I gonna do right now? Because I specifically remember being at the Georgia State tailgate, and I think I was up on a hill and I saw all y'all coming down the hill. Do you remember? I think you were there. Everybody was,
because I remember they went to one tailgate and I missed it. There. I remember because I had to work.
It was right after we graduated, kind
of.
Okay. Yep. So you weren't there, but I saw them coming down the hill, and I was with my sister and my boyfriend's sister. And I was just thinking in my head, I was like, girl, how you going to do this? Like, what you about to do? And I was thinking, I was like, I could take my little cup and turn it on this way. I was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just, like, we ended up, like, running each other into each other and talking, and there was no bad anything then, but it always, like, it always came back to, like, nobody's talking, like, nobody's reaching out to even say, like, I wasn't a part of this. Yeah. Or, like, you know me, like, something.
Yeah, something.
And I think those two things, like, somebody just being direct and being like, I don't like that you're doing this, and I feel like I don't want to be your friend because of X, Y, and Z. And then somebody saying, like, I didn't have anything to do with this, and, like, even though I was here, like, you know, like, you know who I am. I think those two things would have helped me at least try to continue the friendship. Because to your point, like, you said, nobody was like, I don't want to be friends with you, or maybe it was like one or two people. But I guess, like, in the moment, it was just like, well, everybody made this decision.
Yeah, because it's literally a group meet, and, like, now you're, I could only imagine, honestly. Yeah, but yeah, but we've all lived and learned.
Yeah,
like, you know, because even then, like, I mean, this is 20s, and it's like even early 20s was a little bit more like, you know, figuring stuff out, and like now coming out on this side of 25, it's like, you know, we're everybody's putting the big girl pants on and just like, you know, saying where, you know, they could have did things differently, and everything like that. And I know that, you know, I know that there is growth, and I know that, you know, just like how you're saying, like, you know, how you feel about it and everything.
Yeah.
And how you found your peace about it, you know. I know that same peace was found on the other side, but just in terms of just like, I guess this is more for like off the record. So I'll tell you.
Yeah,
we'll talk.
Because I think I wonder sometimes if people expected me to try after that. Because I know for me in my head, it was like, I'm not going to be nobody's ass is going to be my friend.
Right.
But so many people I just knew, like, they wanted me to fight for their friendship.
I see. Yeah.
But I kind of feel like
nobody was fighting for yours. Yeah. And I get that. And I felt that. Just not even like with them, but more so with myself. I felt that, you know, and that's why, like I said, like, letting that kind of fester over like the years, you know, for me, it's just like, okay, I still feel a way about that. And how I didn't fight for that friendship, but I do love that girl. So, you know, like, so that's when I kind of made the decision of like, well, I'm going to try now. But the other thing too, T, I will say, I felt like you didn't want to be, I felt like you was just like, I didn't want to like cause any further damage too. That's the other thing. Cause I would have reached out after like we kind of talked about everything and all that happened and everybody went their separate ways. That would have been the time to reach out and be a friend. Yeah. But at that point, I felt like T don't want nothing to do with us no more. Like T, she about to just, you know, about to go do her thing. I'm like, because to me, I felt like so much damage had been done that you were maybe angry or whatever. And I shouldn't have let any like feelings that I may have perceived still. I shouldn't have let that keep me from, you know, you. But to me, I'm like, well, she needs space. And so, but then after that, like, I don't know if you had like blocked us or unfollowed us or whatever. But like when that happened, I was just like, oh, she really don't fuck with me now. So at that point, I felt like, you know, what am I supposed to do about that? I didn't want to like beat a dead horse.
Yeah.
Until I got to the point where, until we added each other back, you know, and And from there, you know, over time, you know, I started having those feels again of like, you know, dang, I miss T. And, you know, I really do hate the way that I handled the situation.
And everything, like, it's all perspective, because even like unfollowing everybody was more so like, if somebody has already shown me, you know, how they want to interact with me, I don't want you in my face. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And it was hard, like, for a while, just seeing like, oh, you're still hanging out, still this, still that, still like perfectly fine.
You don't want to see
and
that.
I was like, all right, well, this gotta go.
Exactly. You need to cut it. I would have cut it too.
And I feel like that also helped me just, I really think, like, even just not even thinking about the situation or in anybody that it involved, I think like 100% the reason why it happened was because I needed to know like I could be by myself. And it was just in the way that it happened. It wasn't like a, hey guys, I'm going to need to take like a 6-month hiatus and I'll just see y'all later. It was like, you got to go. And God's like, so figure out who you are. Like, figure out what you want. And I think that was the purpose of it. Not necessarily to hurt me or to be like malicious to me. It was like, she needs to learn something that she can't learn with y'all. The last segment, we do Get Your Life. And it's where you share one strength and then one thing that you're still struggling with when it comes to your friendships. Or sisterhood. One thing in sisterhood that you are doing really, really well with, and one thing that you're struggling with.
Okay.
I can go first if you want me to.
Okay, yeah. You can go first.
So one thing that I am doing well with, I think I'm doing well with just being honest with people. Like, instead of telling people like, no, I can't do something, I tell them why that I can't do it and that I can't do it.
Yeah.
Just to your point of giving that like openness, letting you know like, yeah, I'm not coming to this, but there's a reason behind why I'm not going to attend. Or me just being open and being like, I feel a certain way from you. Like, do you have a problem right now? Let's talk about it. Yeah. One thing that I'm struggling with, I guess it's, I don't know. I mean, I can't go outside right now, so I can't like make friends. But like with doing the podcast, I do talk to a lot of different girls, and I do see a strength in me just being myself from the beginning, like the very first phone call, people understanding like I'm a very like calm, like chill person, and it is what it is. Like, if you get to the other side, not necessarily, not that I'm still being reserved, but I'm letting you know up front, like I'm calm. Like, I'm not trying to be all over the place until we get outside, and then I will be for a while. But
oh no, I don't blame you.
I definitely try to let people know like who I am from the beginning.
Yeah.
I think that's going well.
I like that. I had to write that down. That's good. I like that. Letting people know who you are from the beginning. Excuse me. I think that a strength that I have, well, I'll tell you what I wrote down, but and I know that I have like other strengths, but this was like the first thing that came to mind. And mine is, I think that I do well just not taking things personally when it comes to people's opinions and decisions. You know, and I also think that I'm not ashamed to have my own opinion in my own like decision-making process, like for something that works for me. Yeah. You know, even if that does go against the grain of, you know, a traditional or conventional friendship or whatever. So that's one thing that I think I do well, because, you know, I still have the friends that I need to have. You know, I got friends from a lot of different points in my life. So one thing that I would say is a weakness that I'm working on, and that is reaching out when I feel that I should, especially like, you know, I've been beating myself up a lot about that, and I'm trying not to too much because I really want to just like feel it for real. Yeah. And not just feel like I'm doing something out of obligation or because like, how would somebody see me, or what would somebody think of me
if I don't do this?
Yeah. It's like, what's the standard on friendship? Like just in general. And it's like, I'm just trying not to like move that way. But just more so trying to let the Holy Spirit say, look, you need to hit up such and such.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And like when I feel that, you know,
it's crazy you said that.
Be more obedient.
Because there, like throughout the years, I have reached out to, I guess, the person that you would consider, I don't know who you would consider me absolute closest with, but
consider you closest with?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I have two people in mind.
I'll call her Princess.
Okay.
But there have been times where like I may have heard about a job or something, or just something that was going on and reached out to her, saying something about it, letting her know what was going on, to get like a okay thanks or response like that. But like over the years I have, because to the last episode, me mentioning like the way that I saw you guys, even if I didn't like completely share, and even though there was things that I wasn't doing right, the way that I saw some of y'all were like lifetime type of friends for me. So there are times where I think of, I just like have people on my mind constantly where it's like, I guess it's not necessarily that I don't know exactly what it is, but it's like, I don't know if it's I want to like try to build a friendship or have a conversation, but more so like I'll have people like on my mind and in my spirit, and I'll just like I'm not going to reach out, but I will like pray for you and hope that you're okay. And I think that's where I am, because even 4 years later, it's like you're never going to forget people in the way that they made you feel, in the way that you saw things going in your head. Like you won't forget that.
Yeah.
And it's that sometimes I do get sad, not necessarily sad about, but it's kind of like, I wonder what this would have been like, or that would have been like. So I definitely I will say I have those moments. It's not like completely like, oh, fuck these bitches out of here. Like it's times where it's like you coming here today, I was like, this is a great place where everybody to just come. Like this would be a great place.
For real.
But it's like,
we got some nice digs.
Those times where I'm just like I am very like to myself, but there's times where like I want people just sitting on the couch and watching movies, stuff like that. Like I definitely miss that interaction. And I don't know if I'll ever get that type of like group interaction again. I know so far that's not happened, and it's been more so like I'll meet somebody and I want to build a friendship with them, and I'll see where that goes. But I definitely do miss like sleepovers and stuff like that. Like I miss those moments, just because even if I wasn't a major sharer, me just being there was important to me. So that's another thing I can say that I've gone through, just like accepting that, you might not ever have that again, but those same feelings will come again from different people.
Absolutely. And who knows, you might get that again. I watch a lot of Sex and the City, as you know. I did that a lot senior year, and I'm actually back my third time around watching it.
Oh no.
But what I love about that show is like I used to say in college is like, those are like my friends when I get lonely. Yeah. Turn that show on and I just feel like I'm having girl chat. Yeah. But what I like about the dynamic of these women is that they seem to have found each other in like their late 20s or something. Like they haven't been friends forever. Yeah. This is a group that just formed naturally. I know it's a TV show. Yeah. But I'm just saying that hope factor of like, we evolve over time and groups change over time, and groups form over time as well. So, maybe you'll get it back if you want it back. I definitely believe that you'll get it back, because I can see you manifesting whatever it is that you're called to have. So
I think I just I think I just need to share more.
Yeah.
And I know I met Priscilla at the same time everything happens. And me and Priscilla are friends, so I'm learning like from that to like when she's mad at me, I was like, so I didn't mean this, or like, are you mad? Like there's times where I'd be on FaceTime and just stop talking or just hang up, and I'm like, bitch, I didn't mean it like that. Like relax. Like I did not mean it like that. But I learned to say, like, I'm now learning to speak on the energy that I feel. Yeah. And I think that's like a major thing.
Yeah. I'm sure that changes a lot.
Oh, yeah. Me just being like, so what's wrong? Because something's going on here. Mm-hmm. So I guess, I don't know. I know one thing I did want to talk about from everything that we've learned just about ourselves through it all and our friendships. I also had the big just fear of missing out on so many things that I was seeing. Like the reason why I was like, I'm not like, we're unfriending everybody on Instagram. Just like feeling like, well, now I'm kind of starting over at a place and in a city where it's not easy to just walk outside and meet like a whole another group of friends. Yeah. So that kind of, I definitely feel like I've gone through like a lot of FOMO of just like, I wonder like, but I still like, is it the same fun or like, what is going on? But I think I'm learning more to like focus on what I do have control over. And at the moment, I only have control over me and what I say and the way that I perceive things. So like thinking forward, like I don't know what happens like after this or tomorrow. Yeah. But I know like that I had to make sure it was still recording. Yeah. Rightfully so. I know that whatever does happen, it'll be true to like who I am. Absolutely. And like it'll be my real. Yeah. And
it'll be a fit for you.
Yeah. And I think I've just learned so much. Like it happened for a reason. Like I learned so much more about myself to know like I'm just gonna say when I'm just don't expect me. Yeah. I can just say like I'm not doing it. Yeah. Or how I feel about something to where then I didn't feel that way. I didn't feel like I could express my opinion or express what I wanted. To where now it's like regardless of how you feel or how you don't feel, I'm gonna express how I want what I want, and hopefully
that's important.
Hopefully you are cool with that. Yeah.
Yeah. And hopefully if you let me, you'll try to understand this. Yeah. Like my motto lately has been like, love is a learning game. Because I love the Amy Winehouse song, Love is a Losing Game. But I like to like flip it because it truly is a learning game. And like, if you love somebody, then if you have, something happen, I think that it's so important to reach a point of understanding. Yeah. To take it back to the Bible, and all you're getting, get understanding. That's something that I grew up on. And that's something that I've always just like tried to live my life by. Yeah. And that's why it's hard for me to let go a lot of times of things too. Like sometimes I have attachment because I'm overly understanding something and maybe I don't need to understand some things. Yeah. But regardless, it's like, I think that that's important when it comes to love and creating friendships. And speaking up for yourself and listening to other people who are speaking up as well is to truly try to learn and understand this person and not just, receive information or give information because it's tea time. Oh, yeah. But just, but that it's real and that it comes from a genuine, real place. A place that fits.
Awesome. Yeah. Is there... So we got to the end of the episode. I don't know if there's like, we have like a motivational tea that people will send like their own type of messages. I feel like this whole episode has again been like some type of like learning lesson. But is there anything any last comments, questions, concerns? You can ask anything or say anything.
Well, nothing comes to mind like right away. I know like when it marinates, I'll probably like have things going on. So I don't know if you can like drop it in there. But I guess like final words, I would say that I really just appreciate all that I've learned from this experience, and I feel like I've found my peace about it. Because I don't know, somehow I don't know how I wound up being the last person who just didn't have peace over the situation, but it was me. So so I'm glad that I really listened to my spirit. When I was told to reach out to you, and that we have made it to this point. and that we've gotten to share so much with each other about how things went. And I love the fact that it don't have to be no hard feelings, that people can really just like move on and it don't have to be messy, you know? So yeah.
Nobody likes messy boots.
No. Learn from experience, though. That's what I will say. Like learn from experience, because when you have to learn the lesson the second time around, it's always harder. Yeah. So just if you can learn it that first time.
Definitely. But thank you so much for being on this episode.
Thank you for having me, especially during quarantine, girl, because you don't know what I could have been carrying through your door. I'm just playing.
Oh, yeah. You know I'm stocked up. I got cleaning supplies.
I haven't been going anywhere. I have been following the rules. You know, I have seen a friend or two. But
thank you for coming. This was a really good episode. I think
so too.
It like made me understand a little bit more, and even like
me too.
Just know to think things through a little differently, and just to be open. And talk about it.
Yeah. And don't be scared to reach out if you got to. That was my thing. That's my biggest lesson.
I feel like everybody reach out. The lesson on reaching out.
Reach out. I have to keep learning that lesson. See, that's what I be talking about. Learn the same lesson over and over again.
But it's a good lesson to learn.
Yeah.
And I think like I said, I don't know what happens in the future, but I'm glad that there is no like bad vibes, because I guess that was one thing that I was also concerned, like leaving the group. Then I was like, I don't want this to get messy. Like it's just to me, it's kind of like it's either over or I'll see you later.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I like that part too.
But make sure y'all tune in next week. This was a good episode. I really like making these podcasts. I don't know.
Tia is doing her thing with the podcast.
But thank you guys for watching, listening. Follow us on Instagram. Follow me. Follow Chloe. Do you have it?
I deactivated my Instagram back like last September. So
okay, no Instagram.
Yeah, no Instagram Chloe right now, but that's Chloe Catlin. Last name is Catlin.
On Facebook.
Don't add me on Facebook, but one day maybe you will be able to find me on, I don't know, Twitter.
Something.
I have a Twitter.
Go ahead.
My Twitter is only_Chloe. That's Chloe, CHLOE. only_Chloe.
Nice. But thank you. And thank you guys for listening. And see you next week. Bye. Love this episode of Young Monarchs? Make sure you follow and subscribe to take this journey with us. Follow us on Instagram @_YoungMonarch to stay up to date on the latest episodes, bonus content, and more.